Hi guys, we're doing 32-1 notes today. So it starts off by, what did we do on Pi Day? I know we didn't do a lot of stuff, but we did talk about the circumference, which is the distance around a circle, is going to always be pi times diameter. What is pi? Remember, pi is, yes, it's 3.14159 and on forever. But what pi is if I get pi by itself here, if I divide by d, then pi is what we call the ratio, because it's division, the ratio of the circumference over the diameter. Remember, if I have a circle, this is the circumference. It's this all the way around. It's basically perimeter of a circle. That's what circumference is. So, how can we use the formula to write the formula for circumference? Well, we've already done that, but you'll want to write down what circumference is. So circumference is pi times diameter, which if you want to put times in the middle, you can, but it's not required. Circumference can be written a different way also. Because the diameter is 2 radii, remember, we have a circle. Here's the diameter, here's a radius, and here's a radius. So 2 radii together makes a diameter. So you might see it written like this. 2 pi r, because 2 and r makes diameter. So I would have both of them written down, just depending on which one we want to use. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast or you need to think about something. We're going to skip this because I'm not in person to show you, so let's keep going. Let's see. So I wrote my formulas at the top. If I want to find the circumference and I know the radius, think about which formula you want to use. You probably want to use this first one. So I'm going to write down circumference equals 2 pi, and then I'm going to plug in my radius, which is 5.7. Grab my calculator. I would actually use the pi button. The pi button is above the divide by key, so you have to hit second. So here's my calculator. I'm going to type in 2. Here's pi right there in blue, so 2 pi times 5.7, 35.81 centimeters is my circumference. Number 2, find the circumference. This time I have the diameter, so I'm going to use this formula. Circumference equals pi d. And I know the diameter is right there, so I just type in pi times my diameter. So pi times 21.6, 67.86 is my answer. 67.86 is my answer here, feet. Okay, number 3, find the radius. Well, if I know the radius, if I want the radius and I know the circumference, I'm going to use that formula. So let's go ahead and bring this formula. Sorry about that. Let me move this over so we're just looking at question 3. So I'm using this formula right here, and I know the circumference is 94, so I'll put a 94 in there. Two pi r. Remember, r is my variable. R is what I want to get by itself. So how do I get r by itself? I have to get rid of 2 pi. Those are being multiplied, so I need to divide both sides by 2 pi. Divide by 2 pi. That way on this side, I just get r, which is what I want. So I need to type in 94 divided by 2 pi. 94 divide by 2 pi. This is going to be incorrect. Look at what I have here. 94 divided by 2 pi. This says 94 divided by 2. Here's how you need to type in. It's really important. 94 divided by parentheses. 2 and pi are both in the denominator, so they both need to be in parentheses below the divide by key. And you'll notice we will get a different answer than what we got up here. So you have to type in 2 pi both in the denominator. And that's your answer for part B, 14.96. And my label is going to be inches. Number 4. In 4 it says find the exact area of the circle. So when they say exact, they mean you can't round like we probably did in 1, 2, and 3. We rounded our decimal to tenths or hundredths. Exact means you can't round because it's not exactly correct. You rounded it off. So it needs to be exact. So let's go ahead and do this one. Find the exact area of a circle. So here's a new formula you need to know. Area of a circle, which means the inside, all of it, is pi r squared. So we have the area is what we want to know. Now we don't actually know the radius here. We know the diameter. So what would the radius be here? What would half of this number be? It would be 9.2. Sorry, 9.1. So in your calculator, if I type in pi 9.1 squared, pi 9.1 squared. See how I'm getting a decimal here that's going to go on forever? I have to have exact. I'm not allowed to round this. So the reason I had to round it is because pi goes on forever. So what we need to do is we need to not type pi because that makes it go on forever. Let's just type the 9.1 squared. And that is 82.81. So area equals 82.81. That's what this comes out to be. Now I can't type pi, I just have to write pi. My label is units squared. This is exact. I didn't round it. That decimal is not rounded. If I were to type pi, it would go on forever. So I can't type it. I just copy it down because I don't want to forget about it. Number 5, find the exact radius of a circle with circumference of 74. So I'm going to grab this formula because it has circumference and radius in it. So circumference I'm going to write as 74 equals 2 pi r. Remember, we want the radius, we want r. So to get r, we have to get rid of 2 pi. So divide by 2 pi. When I divide by 2 pi here, I get r. When I divide by 2 pi over here, now, when I type in pi, that's going to give me a decimal. It's going to go on forever. So I can't type pi. I'm going to leave pi where it's at in the denominator. I'm only going to type the 74 divided by 2, which is 37. So this is my answer. 37 over pi, and the label will be centimeters. I know the 37 is on top because if you look at it, it says 37. It doesn't say 1 over 37. So anytime it says exact, you don't type pi in your calculator. You just copy pi wherever it's at. Number 6. Number 6, find the diameter of a circle with a circumference of 85. So I'm going to use this formula because it has circumference and diameter, which is what I need. And I know the circumference is 58. I can find diameter. So I just plugged in circumference here. If I want diameter, I need to divide by pi. Divide by pi. Now it says exact diameter, so I can't type in the pi. I've got to leave it where it's at. And so this is as simplified as my answer gets, 58 over pi, and the label is feet. It's only going to be feet squared if we're talking about area. 7. Find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 3.9. Why do I pick this formula? That problem talks about circumference and radius. So it says exact circumference, so remember we're not going to type pi. Circumference equals 2 pi, it tells me my radius is 31.9. So my answer is going to be 31.9 times 2, which is 63.8 pi. My label is meters. It's okay that there's a decimal because I did not round that decimal. It was exact. 8. Find the area of a circle. Sorry, the area of a circle is 236 square inches. Find the radius. So here's the formula I want. It has area, it has radius. This time I know the area is 236. And I have to solve this for r. So currently there's a squared I have to get rid of and a pi. You do need to get rid of pi first. I don't want to square root yet. So divide by pi. And then now to get r by itself, I need to get rid of squared. How do I get rid of square? To get rid of square, I square root. So I need to square root all of this. Now it doesn't say exact anywhere, so I will be able to type pi in my calculator. So let me grab my calculator. Square root of 236 divided by pi. And it does put both of them under the radical, which I want both of them under the root. So I did the square root of 236 over pi. And I'll round that to 8.67 for my answer. 8.67 inches. So for 9, I have the area and I want the diameter. There's no formula with area and diameter, but I can find the radius and then I'll double it to get the diameter. So plug in area, then divide by pi, then square root both sides. Be careful when you type in your calculator, and you can have a decimal because it doesn't say exact. That's my radius. Then you want to double it to get your diameter, and that's your answer.